original plan for it was to be Tatooine.
Ah,
So it was supposed to be Tatooine. It was supposed to be, I don't know if you've never been to the States before, have you?
yeah.
Okay, so anyone who's been to Disneyland, Disney World of Florida, I've been to the Hollywood Studios, which is where Galaxy's Edge is. There's Star Tours. And then right beside Star Tours, there's you know, a shop, a Tatooine shop. And it was always kind of weird. It was like, okay, it would have made sense to put Galaxy's Edge there, but no, you go through a tunnel and you go into Batuu.
Right.
It turns out, no, the actual plan was to put Tatooine there. It was supposed to go all the way back, and it was supposed to all tie together and be in one location. Now it's not too far away, but it still is. And it was supposed to have the cantina. It was supposed to have a speed bike race from Endor. Just a whole little bits and pieces. But
Yeah.
that was the initial plan. And also Endor is there. They actually have an Endor set with a big AT-AT, so that actually fits in perfectly.
Hmm.
But Kathleen
That'd
Kennedy,
be cool. You could sit in the pod racers and all that, couldn't you?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like it's pretty much the exact same thing as when you go to the Harry Potter place where
Yeah.
you're like, okay, you can do all the Harry Potter things.
Yeah. You want to
But
go to Hogwarts.
yeah, you want to go to
Not
Hogwarts, you
not
don't,
not the makey uppy Hogwarts that you've never heard of, like.
or even, not something from Fantastic Beasts. That's I don't you didn't get into Harry Potter from Fantastic Beasts, you got into it for Harry Potter. And the
Yeah,
same with
yeah.
Star Wars, where you didn't get into it for the sequels, you got into it the prequels or you know, the world in general. So look,
Yeah.
Batu isn't bad. I actually like Batu a lot, but there
I mean,
is
I love
that,
Hondo. I mean, anything with Hondo in it, I'll give it a
yeah,
chance.
Hondo's there, but like apparently what happened was Kathleen Kennedy was like, no, we want to free ourselves from the past and focus on the future. But what's deeply ironic about that
If they
statement,
stuck to that mission statement, great. But
oh,
like,
oh,
again, it's not consistent, is it?
well, you took the words out of my mouth. So
Yeah.
it was consistent to a point, but
Mm.
as the Star Wars franchise is struggling more and more and more, the Mandalorian is there now. You can meet the Mandalorian. You can also meet him in Disneyland in Paris, which is pretty cool. But because there is a Batu going to Disneyland Paris eventually. Um, but now they've brought, there's other characters going to be there now, and they're all from different eras. So
Mm.
they recently put Luke Skywalker and R2D2 in Galaxy's Edge, which completely breaks the timing and theming of it. So I think one thing we've said is that they should be a bit more loose with this and kind of do rebrands as they do like in Disneyland, because in Disneyland in California, that's where their Galaxy's Edge is. In Hollywood Studios, that's where Galaxy's Edge is in Disney World. In Disneyland in California, they do a lot of seasonal rebrandings for their rides, and it's actually
Right.
really cool. So you can do this, but I do think maybe this is the first real step in a long time where the Star Wars franchise might actually be moving past this sequelitis, where they're like, okay, we'll let you have the scraps of everything else that you have and build it
Like the
into this.
hotel being themed around the Resistance and the First Order and all that.
I think like that was the big learning curve now, and they're like, okay, we'll bring in Luke Skywalker, we'll
Yeah.
start, and that's actually quite interesting because it means Star Wars can heal from what's been done to it. And like Alex said, is great. I mean, I really like it there. It's just unfortunate that it's the sequel because you don't care about any of the characters, maybe other than Chewie, but I just always want to see him get arrested. Uh, you don't care about the characters because you're like, okay, I mean, I don't like any of you guys, so whatever. But you can still have a good time because the Falcon is there. You get to kind of live in the world.
Yeah.
But imagine what that's going to be like when it's reteamed to
Mm.
Batu in the Clone Wars, which is a
Mm.
book already.
Yeah.
Batu in Under the Empire with the Rebels fight. It gives them a lot more wiggle room, and then they can expand out. I just don't see why you would lock yourself in so deep. And it turns out it was because of Kathleen Kennedy all along. So,
Right.
but now it's been undone. So thank God for that. I'm ecstatic when I saw that. So it's great.
Right. It's a fun, yeah, because like I get that like kind of Star Wars now kind of it's a bit in the Star Trek thing where it has like 4 or 5 different time periods and to keep logical consistency, like Luke can't be there at the same time as like young Obi-Wan. I get that, totally. But still, it feels like there should be some sort of creative solution. Like maybe you walk through like one of those tunnels, those like the living force where like anyone can meet up with anyone and all that jazz. It seems like there can be some sort of like fictional justification to have like old Republic Mandalorians hanging out with Darth Vader. It seems like there should be some way that you can have like all the things, and you could still do like, oh, we're doing an Endor themed thing this year. Next year, we're going to do a Clone Wars themed this year.
Yeah.
It feels like it can be a bit looser,
Well,
so that
look.
they
Well,
can
here's the
enjoy
thing.
themselves.
Well, here's the thing, right? If your business is the theme park and you want repeat business,
Hmm.
just imagine you're like, right, for these 4 years, it's the prequels. We're going
Right.
to reteam the land where it's going to be, you know, clone troops walking around. They'll do something with the droids. You'll be able to meet, Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Anakin will be there. Blah blah. You can have even you can have Tron there because in the book Tron and Anakin that's where they meet
Yeah.
in Batuu. So and then 4 years later it's like, well, we're going to do the sequel. We're going to do the
Yeah.
OT, and then you can go back to the sequels and you can just keep rotating.
That's true in theory, but let's say I only want to go to do the original Star Wars movie, and I
Mm.
have to wait 4 years for it to turn up. What if there's loads of people like me
Well,
who
there are. That's where they're starting.
I know, but
That's
what
what they're
I'm
starting
saying
with.
is, what if all those people don't go for 4 years and then the park doesn't have enough money to run the thing I would have gone to in the first place? You know, I
Well,
get the business sense in one respect, but I think it's also kind of shooting itself in the foot.
see, that's what's happening now, isn't it? Where they've tied themselves to the sequels so much that people are going anyway. But I guarantee you, if you roll out a OT overlay, because look, you can even do a half the year because half the year in Disneyland they have the Haunted Mansion decked out like Nightmare Before Christmas
Right.
for half the year, from Halloween to Christmas. You could even do that. You could have it broken up throughout the year. It depends how heavy you want the over team to be.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're not going to tear down buildings and rebuild it. You're not going to do that. But as
No, no,
far as
no.
as far as just having different characters come out, dude, you could change it every 4 months,
Mm.
which would probably be a better. To be honest with you, that's probably a better run of it. But it's
Well, that is the clever idea about having it be on a planet where it's like, okay, we're going to keep everything the same and just change the time period. There
just
is
change the time period. Yeah, just
sense of
like
that.